They all apparently lived in this home. As you can see, a woman just walked up here in the last few minutes. Ma'am, do you live in this home?
Yes.
Were you there last night?
Yes,
Are you the wife of the?
Yes, I am.
Can you tell us what happened?
It's your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 times, and I'm back with another video. In this episode of Hood Tales, let's take it to Jacksonville, Florida, to discuss the case of a Navy sailor who claims he was protecting his wife from his 2 female roommates after they got into a fight. But before we get into this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss any future uploads. Stay tuned until the end to hear the whole story. Everything in this video is alleged. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Taylor Marques Lomax is 22 years old, a U.S. Navy sailor, a husband, and a father to a young son. Originally from Birmingham, Alabama, Taylor's life path, according to those closest to him, wasn't always clear. His mother once said that before he joined the Navy, he was drifting toward what she described as street life. The Navy became a turning point. 2 years ago, Taylor stood proud as he graduated from basic training. In August of last year, a video shared on the Birmingham City Schools Facebook page showed Taylor returning home after a 9-month deployment. In the clip, he surprises his mother, who immediately embraces him, calling him her hero. She speaks with pride, crediting the military for helping her son find direction and discipline. But heroes are human, and sometimes the discipline of the uniform masks a boiling point no one sees coming. At Naval Air Station Jacksonville, Taylor served as a petty officer 3rd class, assigned to a helicopter maritime strike squadron. While Taylor was building his career, 2 other young sailors were doing the same. 21-year-old Noely Makenda and 20-year-old Jordyn Forrestier were also assigned to helicopter maritime strike squadrons. Like Taylor, they were young, ambitious, and dedicated to their country. The 3 sailors were roommates and lived together at a home in the Savannah Glen neighborhood near Oak Leaf Plantation in Orange Park, Florida. Noely Makenda from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, whose family is originally from Congo, was someone with plans, goals, and a future that hadn't yet been written. To those who knew her personally, she was young, vibrant, and still at the very beginning of her adult life. She made her family proud by choosing to serve in the military. Navy Airman Jordyn Forrestier was the youngest of the 3 roommates. Her family was also very proud of her service and bragged about her accomplishments every chance they got. At an age when many are still figuring out who they are, Jordyn was already serving her country, living independently, and sharing a home with fellow sailors. Taylor, Noely, and Jordyn weren't strangers thrown together randomly. They worked in similar environments and shared the unique pressures that came with military life. Living together made sense, financially and logistically. But behind that shared living arrangement, tensions were quietly forming. Tensions that would eventually erupt in a way no one in that neighborhood had ever witnessed before. That outside dynamic, according to investigators, arrived the night of December 17, 2025. According to reports, Taylor's wife was at the home that evening. While some early reports claimed she was just visiting, Taylor's mother later clarified that the residence was her home too, and she had just returned from finishing business in Birmingham, Alabama. Tensions had been simmering under that roof. According to the wife's account, the two roommates didn't like her. She claimed that Noely and Jordyn were being loud, slamming doors, and making comments that felt like direct provocations.
House and they slammed the door, being loud and insinuating said they'll be the which they was insinuating at me because they don't like me.
The atmosphere turned toxic. The wife says she eventually got out of bed and told everyone they had to leave.
So I got up out my bed and I said everybody has to get out.
She was on the phone with her mother trying to de-escalate or find support when the verbal sparring moved from the hallway to the front yard.
So once I said everybody has to get out, I came outside and I was on the phone with my mom. They came out and they both said, "What the is your problem?" And I said, "Y'all have been disrespecting me in my house. Y'all have to go."
In the front yard, the argument turned physical. Taylor's wife claims she was struck in the face by Noely, and when she fought back, Jordyn joined in.
Noely Makenda is the one that hit me in my face, and I ended up hitting her back and we got to fight. And that's when Jordyn Serenity Jada, she jumped in and they started jumping me.
She described it as being jumped by the two women. That is when Taylor Marques Lomax stepped out. He didn't just intervene, he escalated the situation to a point of no return.
And that's when my husband fired shots.
Taylor retrieved a handgun and in a span of seconds, discharged approximately 30 rounds. Both Noely and Jordyn were struck multiple times. The sheer volume of the response left the neighborhood in shock. Another neighbor reported hearing a woman's voice screaming, help me, somebody help me," into the night. It was Taylor's wife, who then dialed 911. When Clay County deputies arrived at 11:20 p.m., they found a grisly scene in the front lawn. Noely and Jordyn were gone. Taylor was still there. Witnesses say he followed the commands of the arriving officers, raising his hands and dropping to his knees. He and his wife were immediately taken into custody. His wife was interviewed by detectives and later released. During his interview with investigators, Taylor was asked a series of questions, portions of which remain redacted in public records. One question reportedly asked whether someone lying on the ground or walking away would have posed a threat. His response was withheld. Another question asked Taylor to imagine himself as a jury member deciding the outcome of the case. That response was also redacted. Taylor was transported to Clay County Jail. Taylor Marques Lomax was formally charged with 2 counts of second-degree hit and is being held without bond. His next court appearance is scheduled for January 20th, 2026. In the days following the incident, a woman identifying herself as Taylor's wife approached reporters during a live newscast. She claimed that her husband acted to protect her. "They started jumping me," she said. She maintained that Taylor's actions were in defense of her safety. Despite these claims, authorities have not publicly supported a self-defense narrative at this stage of the investigation. Taylor Lomax's mother, fighting for the reputation of her son, also spoke out, saying that some details circulating in the media were inaccurate. Out of concern for her son's legal case, she declined to give a full interview, noting that Taylor did not yet have an attorney at the time. However, she maintains that the reports are misleading, that her son was a protector, not an aggressor. Taylor Marques Lomax is innocent until proven guilty. May Noely Makenda and Jordyn Forrestier rest in peace. My deepest condolences to their families during this very difficult time. Just days before the Christmas holiday, I can't begin to imagine their grief and heartbreak. I send them my well wishes. Two young women lost their lives in such a senseless way. There's a thin line between protection and overreaction. The question is, did Taylor cross that line? Three young sailors, all serving their country, were bound together by circumstances, duty, and proximity. I know a lot of people may question the living situation, whether it was strictly platonic or not, but the arrangement is not uncommon among military personnel. These types of living arrangements can help soldiers save money for the future, like purchasing their first home. Single enlisted soldiers will live with a married soldier who is getting an allowance to live off base. Sometimes the arrangement works out for everyone, and then unfortunately sometimes things can get out of hand, like in this situation. I'm sure it may have been uncomfortable for Taylor's wife and Noely and Jordyn as women to all have to share the home with her husband, even if it was platonic and they were strictly roommates. The dynamics may have been a recipe for disaster. What unfolded that night wasn't an isolated incident. It was the result of unresolved tensions, blurred boundaries, and a moment that cannot be undone. Fam, I'm going to leave the rest up to you. What are your thoughts on this tragic situation? Would you consider 30 rounds an act of protection or something else entirely? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Alright fam, that's it for this episode of Hood Tales. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, consider liking and sharing. Subscribe for more stories like this and for the stories behind the headlines, because behind them all are lives forever changed. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 times. Until next time.